Okay, so how do you remove najasa? It's very simple, and it's not something that should be a reason for the devil to haunt you, which is the case of some people, a number of people, concerning najasa. It's very simple. No, I mean, these rules. Some people, uh, because of their poor comprehension, the devil haunts them concerning najasa. Like, they would think their whole house is contaminated. Everything they did is contaminated. They contaminated all their house, all their every inch of their floor in their own regard is contaminated by najasa, and their body is contaminated. Their wife's body is contaminated. Everything, and he doesn't know what to do. He's going crazy. So one should not find himself here because these rules are easy. Actually, it's not the rules that put a person there; it's his own self. But the issue of najasa is a weapon of the devil. What's the devil going to use on a Muslim to haunt him? One, if the Muslim has heard about rules of blasphemy and has poor comprehension of that, then the devil will haunt him, and if he can, and make him paranoid that he's always committing blasphemy. Then you're going to see him always saying the Shahada, and he turns into a nervous wreck. Another thing is that the devil's going to, if he can, haunt the person concerning najasa. So that if he can make the person think everything in his life is contaminated, he's going to. And then again, he's going to turn into a nervous wreck. One should not find himself there because these rules are easy. So how do you clean the najasa? First of all, you need to confirm it. You need to confirm it. You're not going to clean a spot of najasa without confirming that it's there. Now, someone might say, well, what if I just want to be sure, just to be safe? This is in itself going to be yani, a trick of the devil. The devil's going to use that against you. How can the devil use the fact that you want to just be sure that there's no najasa there against you? Because your mistake here is not sufficing with the religious rule. If you just suffice with the religious rule, it will close the door on the devil for you. The rule is this. Are you sure that that spot is contaminated with najasa? No? Then don't deem it as contaminated by najasa. And if you ask me, well, what if I just want to clean it just in case? Then I'm going to say to you, well, if you want to give the devil a reason to haunt you, then do it. So settle with the religious rule here. If you're not sure it's contaminated, don't deem it as contaminated. I talked to a brother yesterday or 2 days ago. He wasn't sure if something is contaminated or not, and he wasn't even sure that he wasn't sure. That's how deep those things go. He wasn't sure, and he wasn't sure that he wasn't sure. So again, I talked to him. And I already had this conversation with him before. That's how those things go. I had the conversation with him before. Why are we still having this conversation? Because the devil haunts him about these things. So, so I asked him, "Are you sure it's contaminated?" He said, "Well, I'm conflicted." So it means he doesn't know. Yeah, at first he didn't answer me. Are you sure? So he dodged my question. And he talked. Then I told him, "Answer me. You sure it's contaminated?" He said, "I'm conflicted." Means he's saying, "I don't know if I'm sure." So I told him, "Then that means you're not sure." He said, "Okay." So look how a person might not even know. He wouldn't be sure. He wouldn't even know that he's unsure about something. That's how some people are. It's a lesson. You have to be patient with those. MashaAllah. Until he kept talking about this issue. And I told him, if you're not sure, don't deem it as najasa. So he wanted to just wash it just in case. And as a result means, because of like all of it, what he wants to do, cleaning some big area, he's actually putting more work on himself for his plan, what he wants to do, to clean the floor and clean the walls. So I told him, just follow the rules. It's going to be making it easier for you. You're not going to have to go through all these extra steps. So it's like, he's like, okay, I'll follow the rule. So, all right, mashallah. You want to be haunted by the devil? So, in the first place, you're not going to clean something unless you're sure it's contaminated. So, or else you're going to say it's pure. I mean, just any inanimate thing. The floor, the wall, yani, any wood or metal or plastic or cloth or anything, plants. All these things around us are pure. It's just few things that are najasa. Uh, there's just a few things that are najasa, like intoxicating liquid. Yes, because all of the inanimate things are pure, except for a few things, such as what? Intoxicating liquid. This intoxicating liquid doesn't have to be that a person made it like that, that a person manufactures wine. La, if it turns intoxicating, even in the wild, it's going to be najasa. So intoxicating liquid is filthy. Uh, and yeah, yes, that's what they call fermentation. But I advise the people to not use the word fermentation as evidence for najasa. If we want to be technical, what the religious rule is, it's going to be an intoxicating liquid. That's what's filthy, intoxicating liquid. But if you go to the market and you see something written on there, fermented, whatever, that doesn't mean that this is najasa here, for sure. Yani, because this thing might not be intoxicating liquid. So they're using fermented. Does that mean najasa? So that's not the religious rule. That if the word fermented is there, it means it's najasa. Not the rule. Uh, so and that leads me to remind you of the rule of eating things while doubting about them. It is permissible to eat something while doubting about it, unless it's meat. Meat includes fat and skin. Some people, they said they didn't understand from the word meat that it includes the fat and the skin. The meat, the fat, the skin, all of that, laham, this you cannot eat it while you're doubtful about it. But anything else that's not meat, you can eat it with, even if you're doubtful about it. And what this means is similar to what I was just telling you about fermenting. It's not because something is written on some package of that this is ingredients that means that you can't eat this thing. For example, ramen noodles. Maybe it says in the ingredients for the flavor packet chicken fat or beef fat. So does that mean, and it's not halal, it doesn't say halal. Does that mean this is haram for you to eat? Not if you're doubting that there's najasa in there. Not if you're doubting. If you doubt here, you can still eat this. Why? Because this is not meat. This powder here is not meat. So merely being written in the ingredients, chicken fat, beef fat, even pork, for example, pork fat, this alone is not enough really to make it haram. Because the rule is it is permissible to eat something while doubting about it except meat. So some people's understanding of this case, which is not proper understanding, is that when we say except meat, this includes meat byproduct, or this means to them animal byproducts. Even that's too broad because milk and eggs, animal byproduct. But they think meat means meat byproduct too. No. So it's permissible to eat cheese. It's permissible to eat jello, gelatin. Gelatin is like cheese. Sheikh says gelatin is like cheese. So while brothers and sisters are very careful not to eat gelatin, they are not usually careful at all about eating cheese. And actually, there's no sin concerning eating cheese. Yeah, you don't have to check the cheese to eat it, but you do know that there's an ingredient in cheese, which is the enzyme that they take from the stomach of the animal. So, does this cheese in the deli, any of those cheeses, does it have such enzyme in it? If it does, the cheese is najasa. If that was haram, if that animal wasn't slaughtered, then the cheese would be najasa. But it's not obligatory to check. And even if you doubt it, Yani, when I say it's not obligatory to check, one of us wouldn't even have a concern, usually. That's going to be the people's case. They're just going to go and buy cheese. Doesn't cross their mind at all, anything. So there's no concern here. Okay, no problem. There's no sin here. What if a person is aware of how cheese is made? He says, wait a minute, maybe there's enzymes in this cheese, haram enzymes. How can I know? I don't know. Maybe there is. I'm doubtful. Then it's still permissible for him to eat this cheese. It's not haram. Because cheese is not meat. Sheikh Abdullah says gelatin is like cheese. And also, what else? Shortening. Shortening is like cheese. Shortening means this fatty substance, when you apply it to the heat, it melts and then you can fry in it. Sheikh says this is like cheese too, meaning you can eat those things even while doubting about them. But when it comes to meat, you cannot eat meat without, while, you cannot eat meat while doubting about it. Yeah, this applies to that too. Same rule, because the soap is not meat. Yeah, yeah, if you're doubtful about it. Well, when I say you can eat something while doubting about it, what's not included in that statement? Eating it while you're sure. So if you're sure there's najasa in there, then you can't do it. If someone is sure there's najasa in the cheese, najasa in the gelatin, najasa in the shortening, najasa in the soap, if he's sure, he cannot use it. Also, what's included here? The leather. You don't have to investigate. Is this pig leather? Is this dog leather? Just to you looks like leather, like any other leather. It's permissible for you to buy it and use it. If you discover that it's pig leather, you're going to stop using it. And something that went inside of a body, transformed in the body, and accumulated in the body, and then came out all at once. All of it came out together. That's najasa. What are we talking about there? Feces, urine, vomit, blood. And what else is najasa? Um, what comes off of an animal that would be najasa if it died? What comes off of an animal that would be najasa if it died? That's why the cat hair is najasa, because when the cat dies, it's najasa. So when its hairs come off of it, those hairs are najasa, unless that thing is edible and it came off while it's alive. So there's some details there. So let me say, an inedible thing, what's going to be for sure najasa that comes off an animal? And first of all, if the animal is inedible, like a cat, and this animal that's inedible, when it dies, it turns into najasa. So if something comes off of it while it's alive, the hair or a nail or a tooth or a piece of its body, a limb, a foot, this is going to be najasa, even if the animal's still alive. The piece itself that came off is najasa. So, like this, just few things, in other words, just few things are najasa. Everything else is pure, so you're not going to deem it as contaminated without being sure. So once you're sure that it's najasa, how do you clean it? That depends on the kind of najasa it is. Okay, so you're not going to deem a spot as contaminated for no reason. Rather, the rule is all of the inanimate things are pure, except few things. You're going to know those few things and isolate them. Those include the intoxicating liquid and uh, what else? I think we mentioned last week a case. Do you recall what? How do we determine that what comes out of the body is najasa? That is najasa or not najasa? Yeah. Question. Yeah. The question is, do you recall how do we determine that something that came out of the body is najasa? No. Here's how you know that something that comes out of the body is najasa. Okay, that is a rule. That there's a rule there, but there's a broader rule. It is this: uh, whatever goes into the body transforms inside the body, accumulates in there, and when it comes out all together. That's najasa. It goes into the body, transforms therein, accumulates therein, and when it exits altogether. Or if you want, it exits in bulk, then that's najasa. So that's uh-huh, uh-huh, and accumulates in there. Transforms and accumulates. Yeah, or comes out in bulk. Hmm. Or comes out altogether. That's najasa. So then that's going to be your urine, feces, vomit, also pre-ejaculated fluid. With some exceptions, though. There's some exceptions, like eggs. The animals have eggs, like the chickens. This is not included. That's excluded from this rule. It actually falls under the rule, but it's not included. It's excluded. The religion excluded it from the rule here. It is something that went inside the body, transformed and accumulated and came out all together. But it's not included here. It's excused here. This one's not najasa, the eggs. And the milk too. The milk is excused from this rule here. And the honey too. Then what's not like that? What's not like that is what secretes. What secretes. So sometimes something goes into the body, transforms in the body, but not in a way that it accumulates there and then comes out in bulk. Rather, uh, it transforms in the body and secretes. That's how it comes out. So that's sweat, tears, saliva. Okay. So that's not najasa. All these things I'm pointing out to you are inanimate things in themselves. The sweat, the tears, the saliva, the urine, the feces, the vomit, the blood. All these are inanimate things. So, as you can see, this is very little bit of things among all inanimate things. Also, what's najasa? The part that comes off of an animal that's filthy when it dies. The part that comes off of the animal that's filthy when it dies. So, for example, you had a cat. Cat is pure while it's alive. If it dies, it's najasa. So the cat, you clipped his nail. That nail that separates from his body is najasa. Because when a cat dies, it's najasa. Or somebody cut off a piece of an animal. Maybe some sailors took a cow on board, and their plan is to keep it alive so they can have fresh meat. Meaning they're going to be torturing this animal by cutting chunks out of it while it's alive. So any chunk they cut off of it while it's alive, still najasa. Because when this animal dies, it's going to be najasa. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Ma quti'a min hay, fahuwa kamaitati." Whatever is severed from something living, then it is like that thing had it been dead. Is that clear? Yes. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wa ala alihi wasallam said, "Ma quti'a min hay, anything severed from something living, fahuwa kamaitati." It is then like that thing had it been dead. That means in terms of being najasa or not. So, for example, when the human dies, is he pure or filthy? Tell me. Pure. Human stays pure in death. He's pure while he's alive, and he's pure when he's dead. So, if his finger were cut off, for example, what would the judgment of his finger be? Pure. And the fish, if it dies, is it pure or pure? If the fish dies, it's pure. So then, what if it were alive and then one of its fins got cut off? What's the judgment of this fin? Then the fin's going to be pure. And like that. So that's why cat hair is najasa. Because when a cat dies, a cat is najasa. So the hair that falls from his body is going to be najasa. But a little bit of cat hair on you is excused, like less than 20 hairs. Those cat hairs accumulate quickly. No. The cat, being an animal that attacks viciously with its teeth, makes it not permissible to eat. But it's going to be najasa when it dies because it's not a human, a fish, or a locust. The only things that die and stay pure in death are the human, the fish, and the locust. So even edible animals, when they die, they become najasa if you don't slaughter them. Is this clear? Yes. Human, fish, and locust. Correct. Unless it's an edible animal that was slaughtered properly. Edible animals also, they become filthy when they die, unless they are slaughtered properly. So therefore, the cat here is najasa. Uh, Bismillah. And all this talk is from what? From a point that I'm making here to you, which is that you don't purify a spot for no reason. You don't assume that it's najasa. Rather, you learn what is najasa. And then, if you detect it, you're going to clean it up before using that or before contacting that spot. Before using this contaminated thing or before contacting that contaminated spot, you'll clean it properly. Otherwise, you're not going to assume there's any najasa on a bus seat, on public seat, bench, or something, or a doorknob, or anything like that. And two, what we don't believe in germs. Also, yeah, that's not the creed of Muslims. It's not obligatory on a person to believe in germs. Yani, you can just say this thing here is tahir, it's pure. Yeah, if it has anthrax or something, that's different. That's not a germs though. Germs is something invisible that yani people don't really see. They don't feel, they don't see it, they don't feel it, nothing. And then yani some companies they make some products that they say they kill germs. Then the people buy those products and feel happy. Uh, Sometimes they say 99% of the germs. Still gonna be one little germ left for you. Now, uh, okay. So We're going to be sure that something is contaminated, or we're going to say it's tahir, it's pure. Now, if we say uh, that a place is contaminated with najasa, so the najasa is wet or dry. If the najasa that got on the place is dry, then the place itself is still pure, and it just has a najasa on it. It has a najasa in contact with it. Then you can just remove that najasa, like a cat hair. If there's a cat hair just somewhere, all you have to do is pick it up and remove it. And you're not going to consider that the surface where that cat hair was sitting is contaminated. As long as that surface was dry and the cat hair itself was dry, then there was no transfer of najasa, and the surface itself is still pure. You're just going to remove the actual physical filth, and that's it. When are you going to regard that the actual najasa transferred? That's going to be if there's moisture involved. Whether the najasa itself was wet or the najasa was dry but the surface it touched was wet. So if both of them are dry, the najasa is dry and the surface is dry, there's no contamination. And you can just remove the najasa without using water. But if one of them's wet, the filth is wet, or the surface is wet, then to clean the surface, you're gonna have to pour water, purifying water. Okay. Now, in this scenario, which is there was moisture involved, so you're gonna pour water. Hmm. What if though the najasa you can't itself see it or smell it or taste it? You know it's there, but you cannot see it or smell it or taste it. Then it's going to be enough just to pour water on that spot one time. That's it. One wash. Do you recall what a wash is? I'll tell you. A wash is a wave. One wave is a wash. Imagine if you had najasa on your foot, and then you went to the beach, and then a wave came and hit your foot, and the najasa was gone. Then khalas, it's clean. That's a wash. You just washed your foot by a wave. So it's only going to take one wave of water to clean the najasa that's not detectable. I think that's clear. If the najasa is detectable, then what are its characteristics? Do you recall what the characteristics of najasa are? Not four categories. The characteristics of najasa, there's three of them: color, taste, and smell. That's what makes najasa detectable: color, taste, or smell. Without color, taste, or smell, the najasa is undetectable. Then, if it's undetectable, how you know it's there? You're gonna know it's there by some way. Like you knew it was there, and then you came back, and you knew it was there. You never cleaned it. When you came back, there just wasn't any trace left of it. So you're gonna know it's still najasa though, because you never cleaned it. So then all you need is one wave. Pour one pour of water over that undetectable najasa, and you're good. But if it is detectable, then you actually have two things. One thing is the body of the filth itself, and the second thing is its traces. Yeah, the characteristics. Characteristics of najasa are color, taste, and smell. So what if the najasa doesn't have any color, taste, or smell? Then it's enough to pour water over it to deem it purified. Pouring water over it one time, that one flow of water is a mere wave. A wave of water that you released from your cup, or a wave of water that you released from your bucket, or a wave of water that just came with the flood and remove the najasa. Removing najasa does not require an intention. A kafir can remove najasa. It will be valid if he does it right. But what if it is detectable? If it's detectable means it has any one of these three characteristics: color, taste, or smell. Then you have two issues you need to rectify. One is the body of the najasa itself. You have to remove it. And then two is the stain, which is the color or the taste or the smell. So removing the body of the najasa means you're going to pick up that bulk of najasa. Remove it, discard it. If it were feces, you're going to remove this feces, for example. If it were, let's say, dried blood, you're going to scratch it off. Remove the body of this najasa. But then you still have the stain to deal with. So you need to remove the stain too. If you remove the body of the filth and the stain, and what I mean is there's no color, taste, or smell left, and then you poured water after that, then your spot is clear. Okay. But what if there is still a stain left? What if you tried hard and there's still a stain left? If you remove the body of the filth and then you went to clean the stain off, and you scrubbed and you put effort, you put muscle into it, and you could not get the stain out. Or likewise, the smell, you couldn't get the smell to go away completely. Still has a whiff of najasa. Now what? Then the only thing left after effort, after exerting yourself, is a color, then it's clean. Or if the only thing left after exerting yourself is a smell, then it's clean. And if the only thing left is a color and a smell, it's not clean. If what you have left is only a flavor, then it's not clean. So the scholars differentiated between the flavor of najasa and its color or its smell. And so the summary of this is that If the only thing left is a color, after effort, it's clean. If the only thing left is a smell, after effort, then it's clean. If the only thing left, even after effort, is a flavor, it's not clean. And if what's left is a color and a smell, but no flavor, it's not clean. Yeah, no problem. If the only thing left after exerting yourself is a color, then it's clean. If the only thing left after exerting yourself is a smell, then it's clean. But if the only thing left is a flavor, then it's not clean. And also, if what's left is a color and a smell, even without flavor, but color and smell, then it's not clean. Well, Wallahu a'lam. Allah knows best. We'll stop there. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك